Okay, so for photos of the week, ending the 22nd, I put all the photos into 3 folders, and we're going to talk about the winners and lessons today. By the way, there's some good pictures in the lessons folder, but they were PNG files or no form turned in or whatever, so, we got to figure that out. So winners first. Let's go to winners. And let's talk about these. What I like overall. Okay. Again, these are pictures that are going to be going to the judges to talk about, well, they're going to just, vote on photo of the month. And I'm trying to give them pictures that actually have a chance of winning photo of the month. And there's such a variety that, who knows what they're going to come up with. But look, this one I thought was pretty cool. Unusual perspective. Hang on a second. We got conversation going over there still. So this one, unusual perspective. If there's one thing about this I would have done different is that I can tell, there's no lead coming out of that pencil. Seriously, that's little things like that. But overall, it's a cool shot. Okay, I don't even know what it says here. I didn't read it all, but it's a cool perspective on the wire on the notebook, and it's on focus just where you think it ought to be in focus. It's pretty cool. No distractions in here. It's keeping me from looking at what I'm supposed to be looking at. All right, so that turned out nice. This one from Raina, very cool shot. It's a dandelion, right? That's what it's called. You blow that thing, all the seeds blow away into the wind and all that. But this is a bird's eye view. Look straight down at it. The focus is perfect down there. The light is great. Everything about this is good. I like this shot. Very cool. Very cool shot. Nice job. And I don't remember what this one's all about. Oh yeah. Okay. So this one, Raina and I talked about this already, and it had to do with like, here's her shot that she was turning in, and this is the original shot here, and this is actually just right because while it's a little bit crooked, okay, you can't really crop it without losing your feet. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If you take a shot that's so close like that, it's a good shot. And if you crop it though, if I'm looking at this pole, for example, here or over here, if I'm looking for stuff to be straight up and down, if I do that to make it straight, you see what's happening to her feet? And I can't make that, well, I guess I could pull it down. No, I can't. I could pull it down that way. I could do that. But what you don't want to do is, you don't want to make a picture too thin, or narrow, I should say. And what I mean by narrow is, like this is right here, this one. Now, if you look at the posters around the room, 13 by 19 inches, we got 11 by 17, we got 8 by 10, 5 by 7, different dimensions, but these are all rectangles. And you don't want to make it too narrow, because how am I going to put that into a poster without having a lot of extra space on the sides here? If I do that, if I want to make it fit fully on the poster, I'm going to have to cut off something, maybe at the ankles, to make it fit right. That's why the crop that we had here was, that's good. Plus, it's given her somewhere to go in the picture. It's not smack dab right in the middle, a little bit in front of her. That's all good. So that's a good picture. It's a nice shot for, action for cross country. It's good. All right, so nice shot there. This one. Now, keep in mind, this folder is full of, there's two categories I'm giving the judges. One is the advanced students with the DSLRs and mirrorless cameras and all that. Then there's a group of students who are new and they're just using cell phones, take pictures and posing. So that's that. So this one, texture, person that I get to write up and talk about texture. You know what it feels like to touch that, whether you scrape your hand across it or step on it or whatever. You can imagine that. It's a pretty cool shot. All right. So good job by Brianna on that one. This is in the wrong place. That's a PNG file. It shouldn't be in this folder. I got to move it. So this one, Alexis Cornell got this shot. Looks like it's in the quad at our school here. The fork's on the ground here. He put his camera in portrait mode, I think he said on his form. So yeah, iPhone 10. He's got it in portrait mode, and when you have it in portrait mode, that's what it really narrows down the depth of field. Just a little bit is in focus there, so a lot of it's out of focus before and after the subject in there. Looks pretty cool. So perspective, worm's eye view, you call that one, not a bird's eye view, we call it worm's eye view, and it's pretty cool. So let's just hope he picked it up and threw it in the trash when it was done, right? All right, and moving on. This one, I love it. I don't know. This might just win photo of the month. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's pretty cool. It kind of looks like it belongs in a Dracula movie, or a werewolf movie or something like that. It's pretty cool. I like it. And took it with the Nikon. It's all good. Uncropped. Nice job. So that's a good picture. That's from Sean. All right. Okay, here's one that now this student, Andrew, he tried to take a picture like this last week with his cell phone. It just wasn't going to handle it. The lighting wasn't good enough in there. And I'm going to help a little bit with the editing. But if you look at the monitor on the video here, you can't see what's going on the stage here because the focusing is on the monitor, which is a great idea. Put the focus right here. You can see the guy, and it's all in focus right here. But this was his original, like that. And you see that you can't really see a whole lot on the monitor and all that. I think he might have over-adjusted some things. I'll work with him on that a little bit. But now you can see what's on here, So anyway, overall, composition-wise, it's pretty cool. It's a good idea. Just show what's on there. So that's pretty good by Andrew. All right. Okay, so here's one that it was turned in, but then it was turned in actually like this. He turned it in as black and white. And I was talking to, he was in my first grade class. We were talking in class about this. And I want to show everybody a workflow to make a black and white picture, because this picture, it looks like it was turned into black and white, which is really just a muddy gray picture. It's gray. It's not really black and white. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to get to a black and white picture. Okay? I'm going to take this color one and put it into Photoshop. Now, I love black and white. It's my favorite type of photography. It's black and white, and I still shoot black and white film photography, but when I take a black and white picture, I want it to be black and white and not just a muddy gray. So, whether I'm in a dark room or I use Photoshop, whatever, I want to have high contrast with white and black in there and not a whole bunch of gray. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go Control J on my keyboard to get a new layer. I'm going to call this one Camera Raw Filter, CRF, just so I know what I did. Whoops, but I know what I did with that one. And on this layer, I'm going to go to Filter and then Camera Raw Filter. Don't do that because that's the last picture you just did, whatever the settings were. I'm going to go here. All right, so this comes up. To get rid of all the color, you go to the saturation slider and take it all the way down to nothing. There's no color in here now. If I take it opposite, it just saturates it more with more color. But I want to take away the color. Okay. I want to make sure the exposure is about right also, give or take, maybe right. Yeah. Then I go to my clarity, and depending on just how I want it to look as far as, there's different types of black and white film I can shoot. Whether it's a Kodak film, Tri-X pen, or if it's Ilford, or if it's double X film. It has different looks to it, but the clarity will help make it more black and white there. And then you've got your black and white sliders. Now I can hold the Alt button down and go to the slider like this, and then take it to where it starts to appear. See the black pixels start to appear as I slide it? That's with the Alt button down on black slider. I put it about there, and then the white slider, same thing, hold on the Alt button, and I can go to the right, and you can see where the white pixels. Now, the white pixels that are appearing right here, that means those are totally blown out pixels. There's just white in there, that's it. Same with the black. So I don't want to do that. I'll show you what it looks like, I want to, just where it starts coming in like that, that's good. So if I hit the letter P on my keyboard, that's the original, well that's the original color, and it goes to this. But this is a black and white picture, and I can also play with contrast. And with contrast, and I said before, contrast is kind of like when you're cooking and it says add salt to taste, The contrast at this point, again, you can do high contrast or lower contrast and all that, but for me, I learned it that way too, high contrast for black and white pictures, and that's what I would do. I never mess with the contrast slider. I don't want to say never, I hardly ever mess with the contrast slider on color pictures. But I do on black and white pictures, and that's how I would make this look. So there's your black and white. So it looked like that for black and white as opposed to, okay, so this is the black. This one was just simply turned black and white by going to image adjustments and then grayscale. But then there's this, so I'll toggle between the two. There's that one, it's kind of gray, and then there's this one that's black and white, not just a muddy gray. So anyway, it's a cool picture. And I told Carlos last period, I said, he saw what I did with this, and I'll give him to the end of the week to fix it himself if he wants to turn that in for photo of the month for that. So he said he's going to do it. All right, and then of course you'd go, from here, you go to save as, and you'd put, _edit, and you'd also go to file, save as, and you change that over to a JPEG. Now, when you go on your computers, if you go to save as and it's not listed as JPEG, you got to go to save a copy. But on mine, it still shows that for the first of the 3 JPEGs. Just go to the first one, edit on there, and it puts it on there. Okay. All right, so that's how you do that one. That's what black and white is. I love black and white, but it has to be black and white and not this. Okay. Okay, moving on. This one, pretty cool shot. Got the rose there. It's in focus, and there's nothing distracting here. It's in nature out there. It's all good. So it's a nice shot of the rose, and she took that with the Canon EOS camera. So she did a good job. All right, and moving on. Here's one from Anthony Moscolet's perspective view of an acoustic guitar. And you know what? You would expect the focus to be right about where it is on the strings where they meet. I don't know what they're called. It's not a pickup, but it's whatever that is. It's not an electric guitar. So it's pretty cool. All right. Photo of the month? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be photo of the month necessarily, but it's a pretty cool shot. And then here's one that's pretty cool. Now, Amira Anoga took this one with a nice Canon camera, but she said, I asked her last period, what's the deal with did you get lucky? There's a plane. But she said, there were some planes flying by every 20, 30 minutes, whatever, and we were at this spot. And Elmira said the planes were going by every so often, and she meant to get that moon in there with the plane. Oh, that's pretty cool. I told her, this is cool. You could leave it like that, I guess. You got the house coming in here a little, whatever that, I don't know, house, whatever that is, a roof. You know what? I was thinking, without cropping too much, I'd say, there's your shot. That's what I would have done with it. I wouldn't worry about the trees and all that in there. I would go with this for the shot. That's pretty cool. That's what you want to look at. This one, okay, it gives you a place. I guess you're in a park or in your street or wherever you might be. I don't know. You can't tell, but again, that's your shot, and I would put it like that to give the plane somewhere to go in the shot. So it's pretty cool with the moon. I like it. And she's probably going to crop it like that also by Friday to get that going. I just think it would get a better chance of winning versus that one. That's just one guy's opinion. And then over here is another shot with the another like an upside down view of this guitar neck with the strings on it, looking down that way. That looks pretty cool. The lighting is good. So that was by Electra. Unusual perspective. You don't get to see a guitar like that unless you go right up to it. Now the next couple I'm going to show you my monitor versus your phone versus all that. I don't know. I can't see what you guys are seeing on your monitors as far as wherever you're editing these pictures. So here's the original picture of this one. It's a nice scene of a creek, I guess, or a pond or whatever that is. And then there's the edited version here. Was it over? I mean, look at the dark blue sky, but maybe, like I say, maybe on her, if she did it on her phone, I don't know if the phone brightness, whatever, was different. I don't know. But overall, it's a cool picture. So I'm going to help her get this one just right for turning it in. I think it was closer to the original, actually. Then there's this one, where this is the original one. And then this was edited. It might be a little bit too saturated there. But again, I don't know what she used to edit the thing, and different monitors or different, calibrations and also. But this is pretty cool. It's got someone in here contemplating life, I guess, and you know. So there she is. That's a pretty cool shot here too of the creek. And then a couple more. This one. Now this one, I got to ask Daniel about this, but I wonder if this is all the result of the smoke that we had in the area from, smoky skies and all that last week. 1 or 2 days we had it here, so. But there's the sun. That's how, the sky might look with the sun trying to blast through the smoke. So that's kind of interesting. And then this one. I was going to get this one. I like it. The focus is good on here. It's in the right spot. If there's one thing I said to my first period class about this was that, look, your schedule is what it is. I know you got other classes to deal with, and you've got your life to live, and jobs, and friends, and family, and all that. But if you could take that picture when the sun's hitting that would have been ideal. This is still good. It's good. The focus is good. The exposure, though, is a little, I don't want to say it's underexposed, but it's good. I'm comparing it to like a flower picture when the sun's hitting it, and it just makes a huge difference. But that still works out really nice with that, and on the buds in there, it's all good. It's a nice shot by Alexander. All right, and that's the bunch of them that I put in that folder, and then there's this folder I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, now this one, all these pictures in this folder. Let me make sure I did it right. I took the names of the students off these pictures, so you don't know who took them. Okay, so no one can be upset about, hey, you're cutting me down about my picture. Nope, yeah, no one knows it's you. So let's talk about these pictures. Now, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so this one, now I have on here, this is the original, and then we've got, this is cropped. Okay, looks good overall. But if it's me, this is called a setup shot, where you can control everything in this shot, including where the chair is positioned. Because the first thing I saw when I opened this thing up was I saw the chair like that, and then I saw the TV or the monitor. You can see this part of it down here, and it's here. I would have taken the chair and maybe moved it, or taken the angle of the camera, moved it left or something, so that this monitor was lined up with the chair a little better. I don't know if it matters to you guys or not. That's the one thing I saw about it. Everything else is good, but you, as a setup shot, as opposed to like a cross-country picture or a candid shot where you can't control what's going on in the shot. This is a setup shot. Product placement, you can call it too. But you control everything in that shot. Before you take the picture, you can control whether or not that wire's there and whether or not these are hanging here or not. It's all cool. It's all good. But I would just align that chair up so it's even with the monitor, so that the person looking at it doesn't see that and then have to consider that whether or not, it's a good shot or not. This one has to do with composition. Now, the person who took this one was saying, hey, I went outside. It was a nice day. I thought I'd take a picture of my backyard. Okay. But we're looking for photo of the month here. Is this something you want to put on a frame on your living room wall? This looks like some things getting ready to go out to the recycle place or something going on. Okay. But the composition of this is suspect, I'd say. I don't understand why that's a good picture. I don't know if that's a real dog or not. It looks like I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. No. Okay, and then this one, cool shot, looks good, except we're cutting feet off here. Okay, so just because you cut the feet off in a picture doesn't mean it's a bad picture. What you can do is crop it. This is what I mean by this. Watch. And by the way, we're going to lose somebody out of this picture. We're either going to lose the person off to the right of them left in the picture. So here's the picture about, I'd put it about maybe there. Yeah, there's a shot. Or here's a shot. Because, I'm talking, look, if we're going to use this picture, like for example, if I wanted to borrow this and put it in the yearbook for a cross-country page, because they're warming up. Great, got 3 of them in there. I wouldn't use this one like that because, again, to solve this issue with the camera on scene, you take the camera and tilt it downwards a little bit, so you have a little bit less above here, but you don't cut their feet off. But overall, that was a good shot, except for the cropping in there. This one, another one with cropping. Now this one, the photographer took the shot and turned it in, as opposed to doing anything with it, I believe. Yeah, it's not cropped at all. The whole thing is there, 24 megapixels. So what I mean by that is, there's your shot. Because otherwise, what do we have? We got a head right here. We got this thingy here. We got a leg sticking in from this side over here. Plus we have all this space above here. And all. What is all that about? Here's your picture. And if you're taking a picture with a 24 megapixel camera, you can crop a little bit out and you still have a good picture. So that's that. It's a great shot otherwise. Check out his eyes, period on the ball. It's good. It looks great, except, the cropping. Okay. So there's that one. And then this one. Okay, we got a piano, keyboard, whatever that thing is. It's pretty cool, the keys, perspective and all that. But here's what we have. We have this contraption here that looks like a cat scratch castle thingy that you don't want your cat to wreck your furniture, so you give him that, and he goes up there and scratches away, and whatever. Okay, I get it. But why is that in the picture? I don't understand why that's in the picture. It has nothing to do, the write-up had nothing to do with that. And then, you know what? If you can't move the keyboard, if you can't move the cat scratcher thingy, then move your camera. And maybe get a different angle of this thing, looking downward straight on, or something else. Because that, first thing I see the keys, and then I say, what's up with this? That's what I see. So that's that one, distraction. And then this one has to do with the camera. The exposure on this one, you can see it's just all digital noise on here. This camera is not able to do this shot. It's just not capable of doing it. This camera, I used to have one of these. I had an iPhone SE. I like it. It was a nice little camera. Nice little phone. I love the size of it. My iPhone 10 is a little bigger. I'm like, this is better as far as the size. But guess what? The camera wasn't as good. It just won't handle this shot. That camera, that SE, I've got some nice pictures that I can go 13 by 19 inch pictures from that camera. I can print that big, but not that picture. It won't handle that light like that. So the point is, you gotta know the limitations of your equipment and what it can do and what it can't do, and this camera can't do that one. And then there's this one, praying mantis. The kid wrote it up. He said, hey, the praying mantis was right there. Okay, cool. You guys know why it's called a praying mantis? Anybody know why it's called a praying mantis? Matthew, why?
Because it looks like it's praying.
You look at his arms or legs or whatever, his front. Yeah, it looks like his hands are together or whatever. That's pretty cool, like he's praying. But looking right at the camera, it's a cool shot, But again, this one, exposure, for photo of the month, I think the exposure is just in a dark place, and maybe it was brought up after shot was taken and all that. But it's all digital noise on here is what this is basically, and that's why that's there. Otherwise, pretty cool picture for a spontaneous type shot because he was kind of surprised by it. This one, flash burn. What does that mean? It means the camera, phone, I believe it was, maybe. It's not shown on here, but it's flash burn. The flash is too close and it's blowing out the picture here. You see everything else is dark. It doesn't look natural. It looks like there's a light on it, and to use a flash like that, if I had to use a flash, which I hardly ever do, but if I had to, you can get a piece of paper, put it in front of your flash a little bit. Now, if it's on a phone, you can't really do that. The way the phones are made, the flash is right there. But if you got a dedicated flash, like on a Nikon camera, you can kind of diffuse the flash a little bit by putting a paper in front, making it less intensity. Okay, but this one is just too blown out for the scene here. That's all. It's called flash burn. Flash is too close, and it blew it out. Okay, this one. I looked at it a few times. This, if you notice the focus, we'll call this a carpet here, all right? Or whatever that is called. This carpeting here. If you notice, this is a piece of it's salt. Okay, some pieces of salt or whatever, salt. If this piece of salt were a little bit closer, like right in here, it would have been right in focus. But the salt itself is on the fringe of where it starts to go out of focus, and it's not in focus. This one's a little bit more so in focus, okay, but I can go in, but this is not. And if I just put this piece of salt either forward or when I'm taking the picture, make sure my focusing is back a little bit more so this area back in here is in focus so that the piece of salt, which is what she wrote about, put it in focus, is in focus. Next thing is it's a placement shot. You are in control. Everything in this picture, you can do whatever to it before you take it. I would have gotten rid of this piece of stem, whatever that is, that piece of whatever that is. It's a piece of driftwood or something there. I don't know. I would have gotten rid of that. So anyway, interesting shot though, but it's just out of focus. Then moving on, this one, cool shot. I like it. Interesting. The focus is over here. Great. But guess what? It's late. It's due at 5 o'clock Wednesday. It was turning late. This one, pretty cool also. All right. Keyboard's looking straight down. The student was in class trying to edit this thing just right to get the, he had extra space on one side or the other with the keys. He cropped it just so it's even. No distractions here as far as that goes. And okay, but guess what? It was late also. It has to be in by 5 o'clock on Wednesday. And I have to be fair about it. I'm not going to let some people turn in late and other people not. All right? If you're absent for a whole entire week, okay, sorry, you're absent for the entire week. But if you're absent for a day, you got all week to get this thing in. You got a week. Don't wait till the last day. And then this one. I like it, but guess what? The light is coming from the right side of this chicken. The light is over here. I don't understand why we're taking a picture of this in the dark area of where the shadow is here, and the light is sitting this side over here. That's, to me, a distraction there. I want to see, I would have turned this thing, maybe turn it, and again, it's a placement shot. You can do what you want with it, but I would turn it so the light is hitting it just right and not having it in the shadow or the darkness here. And that's the issue with that one. Otherwise, interesting. This one was turned in. The student turned it in without the form being filled out. He didn't fill out the form. All we have is a picture. I got nothing. Plus it's a PNG. It's a PNG also. And I don't take no more PNG files. If you got a PNG file, you're supposed to turn it into a JPEG. Open it in Photoshop. Then you go to File, Save As or Save a Copy, one of the two, and go up to the first JPEG. Okay? JPEG. If you turn in a PNG file anymore, it's going to be a 0, okay? Because that just tells me you're not interested, okay? So this one, this was taken in my classroom. You know what? This tells me that you didn't get it done in time, and all of a sudden, hey, I got to take a picture, and it's due today, and here, real quick, I'll take a picture of the keyboard and turn it in. Nope. I don't want pictures in my classroom. I want you to take a picture and turn it in, I want you to be thinking about photography and take pictures and not just, oh crap, it's due, and then turn it in something like that. So I'm not interested in that. This one, cool picture, but again, it's a PNG file. Plus, I would have cropped out this little bit of, just a little tiny bit, this little bit right here, distraction right there. Overall, pretty cool. We went down to whatever beach that is, whatever it was. And, but it's a PNG file. Again, no PNGs. If you have your phone, if you have an iPhone, you guys don't have to worry about iPhones. This is the production class. But if you got an iPhone, I was showing you guys how to set your camera so it doesn't take HEIC pictures anymore. It'll take JPEGs. Because if you take an HEIC picture, it turns into a PNG file. It's just a hassle. It's just a lot of work for the end user to deal with. So that's what we want, the JPEGs. All right. This one was a PNG file. Plus, so just to say, look, even if it's a JPEG, I would have said, look, this one, okay, she's dealing with something probably with her hair, whatever's going on here. You can't even see her face here. It's just, no. I'd say, nope, maybe get a different angle, maybe wait till she turns her head or something going here, but it's not this picture. But it's a PNG. This one, it had to do with convergence here. This is a ramp going down over to this, and this road here, and okay, but guess what? PNG file. It's crooked also, but PNG. That's what that's in there for. Another PNG right here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The light on here is interesting. The leaves here with the the lines in here, pretty cool, but it's a PNG file. All right, and then okay, this one had to do with rotation. Whoops. Okay, so this one, if I go to Photoshop on this one, and just basically look, this is, you can tell, it's just slanted. It's stuff in the middle of the picture. If it's on the sides, I can understand how the lens might bow it a little bit, but you know, with the crop tool, I would have taken this one and use those lines and straighten it. So again, crop tool, turn this. I'm looking at the line right next to the sun, going up and down there. I'm looking at those poles. They should be straight up and down. And then you don't get the distraction of it being slanted. You just get to see it. And this person was going for framing with the sun in the middle of the two poles like that, looking like that. That's all. So, and then, and there's this one that I think I put in Photoshop to show the rotation on this one too. So this is the original picture like that, and this is straightened out. So this one, you just see the car between the trees framing like that, but it's not the distraction with the stuff all slanted in there. This is simple stuff though, but it just has to do with getting it right before you turn it in. So, okay, here's one pretty cool shot. Different photographer than the other one. They're both at the game together, but they're taking pictures of this guy, you know, warming up, I guess, on the sideline, whatever he's doing. But again, everything's slanted here. It should be straight up, so that there's not, you know, you don't get the distraction of everything's slanted here. He's not on a slanted field. He's on a straight field. I'm looking at that pole right over his left shoulder there. That pole is now straight up and down. Great. Then from here, I can still crop a little bit if I wanted to. I can take that down a little bit. I use the shift button so I don't get it too, you know, skinny like that. So I'd go there. And then this little bit in here, this guy here, I would take that one, maybe from here, just get it inside there. There's your shot. I can do that. Straight up and down. There's nothing to be distracted about in this shot right now. There's the ball. It's on his eyes. It's a good shot that way. Okay. And then there's this one, which is, you know, girl's jumping a rope with the ribbon or whatever she's doing. But you know what? This was taken at Club Rush down at the Quad, and you didn't just take one picture. It wasn't just one picture. It was probably a bunch of pictures. And this one, you know what? How about I get a picture when it's up over her head, or maybe she's just, you know, you can see her face. Maybe you can't see her face. You can't see what's going on. Plus, it's crooked. If you try to crop this one, you're going to lose the feet. So that's what's going on here. It's just, I don't know why this was chosen of the bunch that could have possibly been taken there. And then this one, it's no form was turned in. It's unnamed. It wasn't even named right, and it was no form turned in. Okay, so let's go over to Google Classroom, and I want to make sure we're clear on something, because people are either still confused or just lazy. One of the two. All right, so production. Here's the next one. Photo of the week ending this coming Wednesday, 29th. Instructions. I've added this here. I added this line here. Effective immediately. To be eligible for a 4 out of 4 or a 3 out of 4, the image must be renamed. I want you to rename the picture. The form, it says how to rename the picture. It says it right on there. It says right here, name of image file. I'll give you an example. People are turning in files that just say 2751.jpg. What the heck? I want you to have your name on it with POW for photo of the week, and then the date. Don't make me do it. Every time I get a picture like that, I gotta download it, I gotta change the name on it. You know, times 100, I gotta do that. How about you do it just once? You name it. If you're taking it with your phone and submitting it, well, guess what? Don't be lazy. Okay, make sure that happens. All right, and then in here, and the form must be filled out completely. On this form, guess what? I numbered all this stuff. Every one of them people are just leaving stuff out. They're just not even answering certain ones. They're just skipping it. Just skipping it. So, I don't know. Can you follow directions or not? That's a big question here. Can you follow directions? The answer should be yes. Okay. So that is that. And I've got pictures in the others folder too that if you took a picture that wasn't in either winners or lessons, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it wasn't one to put in for the week. And that's it for the week ending September 22nd.